All right, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. My name is Sarah Gelsomino, Gelsomino. I'm a lawyer with the law firm of Friedman and Gilbert. Why don't we introduce everybody here before we get started? So, go ahead.
I'm Terry Gilbert.
I'm Leo Kessman.
I'm Jacqueline Green with Friedman and Gilbert.
Edward Little.
I'm James Hardiman, President of the Cleveland branch of NAACP.
So we're here today to announce the filing of a federal civil rights class action lawsuit on behalf of all of the inmates currently housed at the Cuyahoga County Jail. The law firm of Friedman and Gilbert, Porter Wright, and the NAACP Cleveland chapter have filed this lawsuit today to address the dire human rights crisis that is occurring right here in this building as we speak, to thousands of people being held by the county in custody. This lawsuit seeks redress for violations of the U.S. Constitution, the First, Fourth, Eighth, Fifth, Sixth, and 14th Amendments. The lawsuit is comprehensive. It's 60 pages, which we encourage you to dig into. There's a litany of violations that are occurring that the county has long been on notice about. For years, the county has known that this facility is overcrowded, well beyond the capacity that is safe, hygienic, and healthy for the inmates who are housed there. And yet, rather than taking any steps to address that root cause of the problems, they in fact took steps to bring more people into the jail to further the overcrowding, which has led to a cascade of horrific conditions that are continuing in the county. This lawsuit is important because although the county has played lip service to some easy fixes within the jail, they have done nothing to address any of the root problems which are causing this human rights violation. And even the fixes that the county is claiming to have put into place in the last couple of weeks, inmates are reporting from inside that they are not actually experiencing any of those. Shower curtains are still filthy, showers are dirty, food is still served in tiny portions and of horrific quality. Inmates are getting moldy food, inedible food. The people are being held in restrictive housing for days and days at a time. They are let out of their cells only for a couple of hours. And it's important to note that when people are inside a one-person cell with two people locked down for 20 hours, 22 hours a day, they can't leave that cell at all. There's nowhere to walk around. There's two adults in one cell, one person sleeping and sitting on the ground. The only place that person has to sit is the toilet or the floor, or with the welcome of their bunkie, maybe they can sit on the one metal bunk in that cell to sit and eat their food, but that's it for 20, 22 hours a day. These conditions are torturous. People are becoming desperate. And because of that desperation, in the last year, 55 people attempted to take their lives in this county jail, 3 of whom succeeded. This is not acceptable. This needs to change. This lawsuit seeks the appointment of an independent monitor, an independent person who along with the assistance of experts, will look into the conditions at the jail and implement immediate reforms to change the conditions. This will include immediately decreasing the population of the jail and increasing staffing so that there is sufficient staff to handle the inmates and detainees who are being held in this facility. The county has a duty to care for these inmates and detainees, these humans who are locked up in this building in inhumane, horrific, and unconstitutional conditions. I'm going to let Leo Kessman speak to you about the conditions. Mr. Kessman spent 90 days in the facility. He'll tell you about himself and about the conditions. Terry Gilbert will talk to you a bit about the history and what got us here, and the long-standing violations that have been occurring in this jail, and then we can address questions about the lawsuit.
Hi, how's it going, everybody? My name is Leo Kessman. I'm the president of Bikers for Father's Rights. I'm also a father, a veteran, and a human. But today I'm the voice of people who cannot stand up for themselves. I was a pretrial inmate for 90 days inside a Cuyahoga County Jail. Within that time, I was subjected to inhumane conditions, threatened and mistreated by correctional officers, and refused proper mental health treatment and medication. The conditions inside the jail are disgusting. There are pods with feces, urine, rotting food, mold, and lead paint peeling all over the walls, floors, and even the ceilings. Water damage has run rampant. Pods without running water. Pods that have one shower for 60 people, or don't even have a shower at all. Water is leaking from the ceiling and seeping from under the toilets. People were going weeks without showers and months without toothpaste. I think I had one tube of toothpaste the entire time I was there. I was there for 90 days. There's pods infested with cockroaches and bed bugs. We asked for cleaning supplies. The correction officers wouldn't give us any. They responded that they don't have any. The jail is so overcrowded that people are packed like sardines inside tiny cells. Sleeping on the floors, being forced to sleep on wet floors next to leaking ceilings, and some people didn't even have mattresses. Pods are locked down for 27 hours at a time sometimes. We don't get regular exercise. There's this thing called red zone where they keep you in your cell for 27 hours, let you out for 2 hours, then you're in there for another 27 hours because they don't have enough correctional officers to staff the facility. I was just trying to imagine being in a cell all day, living with those conditions in a box, about this crowded. There's people that are being refused medical care and mental health treatment. For about 3 months, I was refused mental health treatment medication, despite the fact that I have battled with bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and major depressive disorder my entire life. And every day, 22 veterans committed suicide. Every day we lose people because they have demons that people don't understand. It cannot be allowed for people, let alone veterans, to go untreated. We cannot, as a country, allow this to continue. It must end. I intend to be the voice for the voiceless. I intend to bring the jail to its knees. As Americans, we are founded on the belief that something corrupt and broken must be brought down and rebuilt. This is the moment when change begins.
So my name is Terry Gilbert, and I've been a lawyer here for many decades. And actually, back in 1989, I was involved in a similar suit over the conditions of the county jail. If these horrific conditions were only a product of a recent political response to the conditions in the jail, it would be bad enough. But it goes back to 1971. This county repeatedly has ignored the human rights and basic human rights conditions in the county jail for almost 50 years now. The old county jail on 21st Street in Payne, which had a capacity of 375, was overcrowded. Legal Aid had filed a suit back then to deal with that. That led to the building of Jail 1 over here at West 3rd and Lakeside. Only 20 years later, in 1995, that particular facility was overcrowded and in bad shape. And now we're back here 20 years later on another class actions case regarding the deplorable conditions in the county jail. It doesn't seem like whether it was a county commissioner's government or the kind of government we have now, it just seems that people don't care in government what happens to people that are incarcerated, most of whom are pretrial detainees who have even yet to be convicted of any crimes. They are treated worse than people who actually go to prison after sentencing. And so we are looking for a comprehensive solution to this problem. And the only way it could be accomplished is if we have the power and authority of a federal court that is able to oversee and impose the kind of remedies that are needed to address this condition. It's not going to be easy. There are many stakeholders in this process, from the Court of Common Pleas, the judges, the probation department. How is it that people keep coming into this jail without limitations and without any structure to maintain a safe and sanitary situation for these inmates? So it's going to be a long haul, but we're in it for the long haul. And we hope that the county will see fit to work with us to come up with a solution under the authority of the federal court. You want to speak, James? Okay.
I never saw a microphone I didn't like. I'm the president of the Cleveland branch NAACP. I've been the president off and on for the last 35 years. A couple of weeks ago, the NAACP held a listening session in which we listened to a number of people that had been incarcerated in the Cuyahoga County Jail. If you had been there, tears would have been brought to your eyes. The conditions are deplorable and inexcusable. We live in a civilized society, and we fully recognize that people that are incarcerated do not have a strong lobby. People are not demanding on the outside that they be given humane conditions. But there is a prohibition against unusual or unreasonable treatment of inmates. We have got to, as a civilized society, recognize that we cannot permit these conditions to exist. The NAACP stands firm and committed to making sure that these issues are addressed timely, and addressed efficiently. We're optimistic that the national NAACP, in addition to the Cleveland branch NAACP, will become involved in this issue. We hope that the power of the federal court will come down, and come down hard, to make sure that these conditions are corrected in a timely, humane manner. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Oh, you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Make no mistake, the eyes of the electorate are watching our current elected officials and how they respond to this crisis. Inevitably, change will come, either through the necessary reforms to our justice system, or the people will identify new leaders who have the moral courage and the political will to do what we all know is just and right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Can you first spell your name for us so we know what it is?
You're right in here.
And when was the last time you were locked up here?
You can spell my name Kessman. That's Kessman. I got out about a month ago, about 3 weeks ago.
How long were you in?
I was in 90 days.
What do you hope the feds are going to do about this? Consent decree or what? What are the possibilities?
I just want change. I want something to be done, and I want change. That's all I want.
The lawyers can answer that.
Well, we know that left to their own devices, things will not change. As Terry pointed out, it was back in the 70s when the issue was first brought to the fore. We are now more than 40 years later, and we're still complaining about the conditions. This is inexcusable. If you had been present to listen to the various people who explained how they were treated as less than human beings, you would demand that some change be done. Now, federal judges have a lot of authority. They have the opportunity to be creative, and we're optimistic that whatever creative solution is developed, hopefully with the help of experts, possibly special masters, it will be a long-lasting, effective solution. And we won't be here 40 years from now trying to demand that conditions change.
And we are asking for the appointment of a monitor to oversee to implement and oversee a plan to change the conditions in this lawsuit. We are open and hoping that the county will do the right thing and enter into negotiations on a consent decree. They have done that in the past. Unfortunately, they have shown time and again that they are willing to violate consent decrees. And therefore, we are ready and willing. As Terry said, we are in this for the long haul, and we will litigate this case to the extent that necessary. But the county should come to sit at the table with the federal judge, with the experts in corrections from around the country, with a monitor to really evaluate the situation and create both immediate and long-standing change within the county facility.
When you read the marshal's report that came out several weeks ago, what's your initial reaction to reading something as scathing as damning as that was?
Disgust.
Well, you know, it's interesting because in the past, we have not had partnerships with law enforcement entities that would stand up for the rights of inmates or prisoners. These cases were mostly done by public interest organizations like the NAACP, like Legal Aid. But here we have the system itself through the federal government shockingly pointing out all these human rights violations, which we have known for a long time. But it was shocking to the community. It was shocking to the media. It was shocking to even the county executive. They were stunned. So we feel that this is the time properly to get all the stakeholders together under the umbrella of the federal court and get the job done for once and for all.
You know, it's important to note that the county has been on notice for a long time. Although that marshal's report was shocking and the breadth of the violations was overwhelming, the county has long known, the warden and the sheriff and Armin Budish himself have long known that there are problems in this jail and that they needed to do something to fix them. In 2017, the Ohio Department of the ODRC, the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, found that this jail was not only overcrowded to dangerous proportions, but also that they were not adequately providing medical and mental health care to their inmates. And the county did nothing. Inmates, detainees, humans who are locked up in this building have been begging for relief for ages. Family members have been calling in, begging for relief for their people inside for ages. One of our plaintiffs has been suffering from celiac disease. This county jail refused her an appropriate diet for her celiac disease for months until finally they capitulated to outside supporters who were calling in incessantly to seek redress for her. Who knows what kind of damage was done to her body in that time, let alone the pain and the suffering and discomfort that she went through because of a documented illness that this county refused to accommodate by providing her appropriate food. They have long known what's going on in this jail and have decided not to do anything about it.
And let's not forget that from June to October of this year, at least 6 people have died in that jail. That's unheard of in institutions around the country. That's why this case has gotten national news, because it's a death trap. Not only that, but 55 incidents of suicide attempts have occurred in the last year alone. This is a time bomb ready to explode. And it's about time that the legal system, the courts, the county, and other stakeholders take this real seriously, not because of a report from the marshals, because this is an ongoing human rights crisis.
And just to follow up on that, the county has made some public statements about action they will take to address some of the more superficial issues that have come up. But part of the plan is now working with a correctional consulting company that has an entire year to come up with some kind of assessment of the problems. We cannot wait another year. There cannot be 7 more deaths in this jail. There cannot be a constant denial of medical care, of mental health care, of food to eat, of potable water. It is a horrific human rights crisis, and a year is far too long to begin to assess the problems. We need immediate action now.
How far over the limit would you say the crowding is? Are they 100 over? Are they 200 over? Do you have any idea how far over?
There are like 700 over. The capacity is about 1,760 something, I believe, and as of the marshal's report, they were at 2,400 inmates.
Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.